celebrate why do we celebrate Black History Month? So Black History Month is celebrated to the honor of contribution, legacy, and achievements of African Americans throughout the U.S. history and brings visibility to narratives that were historically excluded and neglected. Historians Carter G. Woodson, the father of Black history, founded the I don't know that word. I'm sorry. The month 1926 to counter overlooked, ignored, and even suppressed. I'm sorry. Of Black Americans in textbook and schools. Martin Luther King said, "The time is always right to do right."
Harriet Tubman was born a slave in Maryland and escaped to freedom in Philadelphia. The lantern was a sign of a safe house.
So this was her third grade project for last year. Edyn is in fourth grade this year. Their project was to make something that represented a hero from Black history, and hers was Harriet Tubman. So we made a train with my brother. We made a train. The lanterns, like she said, represented a safe house. We did the map that showed the route that she took through the Underground Railroad. This was one of Harriet's famous quotes. I'll read the quote. The quote said, "I would fight for my liberty so long as my strength lasted." Yeah.
Today I will be presenting on Harriet Tubman, one of the most courageous and brilliant figures in American history. Harriet Tubman was born, Minty Ross, I hope I pronounced that right, around 1822 in Dorchester County, Maryland. Into slavery from birth, she endured forced labor, family separation, and violence. As a teenager, she suffered a traumatic head injury when an overseer threw a heavy weight at another enslaved person, striking her instead. This injury caused lifelong seizures and vivid spiritual visions. Rather than weakening her, Tubman interpreted these visions as divine guidance and strength. In 1849, Tubman escaped slavery. However, what makes her extraordinary is that she did not remain safely in the North. Instead, she returned to the South multiple times, at least 13 documented missions to guide others to freedom through the Underground Railroad. Historians estimate she directly rescued about 70 enslaved individuals and assisted many more. She was nicknamed Moses because she led her people out of bondage. Tubman was not only brave, she was highly strategic. She traveled primarily, I said that on my phone. During winter months when nights were longer, used coded spiritual songs to communicate and chose Saturdays for departures, so newspapers' runaway notice would not circulate until Monday. Most notably, she never lost a passenger. Her success rate reflects planning, discipline, and leadership under extreme risk.
What is the Underground Railroad? The Underground Railroad was a secret informational network of routes, safe houses, and activist supporters that helped enslaved African Americans escape from southern slave states to free the North, Canada, and other safe territories between the late 1700s and 1865.
Okay. So during the Civil War, Tubman expanded her role from abolitionist to military leader. She served as a nurse, scout, and spy for the Union Army. In 1863, she became the first woman in United States history to lead an armed military expedition.
the Conde, I don't know how to say it, but the river raid in South Carolina, which liberated more than 700 slaves, had 700 enslaved people. Despite her military service, Tubman struggled for years to receive fair compensation, highlighting the racial and generation inequalities of the time.
Good morning. Good morning. Okay, I'm going to be doing the comparison, and I titled it Courage for a Time Such as This. Today, as we honor Black History Month, we celebrate courage, faith, and the power of standing up for your people, even when it costs you everything. Today, I want to share the story of two women from very different times and places, but with remarkably similar hearts, Queen Esther and Harriet Tubman. Queen Esther was a Jewish woman who became queen in a foreign land. She lived in a palace surrounded by comfort and protection. But when a law was passed that would destroy her people, Esther faced an impossible choice: remain silent and stay safe, or speak up and risk her life. Approaching the king without permission could mean death. Yet Esther understood something powerful. Her position was not an accident. It was courage. With courage, fasting, prayer, and wisdom, she used her voice. She spoke when silence would have been easier. And because of her bravery, her entire people were saved. Harriet Tubman's courage looked different, but it was just as bold. Born into slavery, Harriet escaped to freedom, but she did not stop there. She went back again and again into danger. She walked through darkness, fear, and uncertainty, guiding enslaved women, men, and children to freedom through the Underground Railroad, as we spoke upon before. She carried no crown, no palace protection, only faith, determination, and an unbreakable love for her people. Harriet Tubman never lost a single person she led to freedom. What makes these women extraordinary is not just what they did, but why they did it. Both Esther and Harriet could have chosen themselves. Both could have said, "I've made it, I'm safe now," but neither did. They understood that freedom, safety, and justice mean nothing if your people are still suffering. Esther used influence, Harriet used action. Esther saved her people through strategy and timing. Harriet saved her people through endurance and sacrifice. Both risked their lives, both trusted God, both changed history. Black history is filled with people like Harriet, individuals who stood in the gap, who walked so others could run, who fought so future generations could live freer lives. Like Esther, Harriet Tubman was here for such a time as this. And like Harriet, we too are called to stand for the truth, justice, and humanity wherever we are planted. May we honor their legacy not only with our words, but with our courage. And then I'm going to end you with a poem that I put together, Two Women, One Courage. Queen Esther stood in royal halls, draped in silk, surrounded by walls. A crown on her head, but fear in her chest, knowing silence would fail the test. A whisper of danger, people to save, a choice between comfort or being brave. She stepped forward when her heart said wait, and spoke life into the hands of fate. Harriet Tubman walked under moonlight, no crown in sight, just stars above and a will to fight. Chains behind her, freedom ahead, with courage louder than the words she said. No palace, no guards, no royal decree, just faith in her steps and a cry to be free. She turned back again when she should have stayed, each step a promise that freedom is made. One used a voice in dangerous place, one used her feet in a merciless race. One faced the king, one faced the night, but both chose justice over fright. Different paths with the same demand. Stand for your people, take a stand. Because courage isn't measured by where you begin, but by who you fight for again and again. So when history asks what we chose to do, when fear stood loud and the cost felt true, may we answer like Esther, like Harriet too. I stood for my people. I did what I had to do.